Well folks, here's something a little bit different. This is Apios Americana. It is a tuber from North America. I think it's part of the legume family, and I've been growing these for a few years now, and this year I did a sort of trial with growing them in the polytunnel. Previous to that I was growing them outdoors in the beds outdoors, and they weren't doing that great. They're very late to get started, but I do think they prefer it on the warmer side, but they can handle very, very low temperatures, much lower than we get in Ireland. But this is the size of a tuber that I got this year. So this tuber is probably about 2 to 3 years old, so medium sized potato. Obviously a paltry yield compared to other tubers, but something a little bit interesting. I haven't eaten any of these yet, and I might just save this for another year. I know that you can save these tubers, individual tubers, and keep growing them until they get to a reasonable, large potato size. So theoretically, I could grow every one of these tubers to get to this size or bigger, which I plan to do. So in terms of how I grew them, I had them in this pot here, and I emptied the pot out here just for ease of harvest rather than growing them in the ground. They're much harder to get out of the ground than in pots. But what I did was I beat the bottom end of this pot out and I put them into this patch here. So I had some of the roots growing into the ground, and I did this because there's a grower in the UK, I think her name is Mandy, and she has a website called Incredible Vegetables UK, and she's a big fan of this particular tuber, and she grows them indoors in bottomless pots that grow into the ground. And I have to say it was quite successful with regard to these. I mean, these are previous years outdoors I would have gotten tubers this small, and I think part of the reason for that was that it's just too cool, and they wake up fairly late. So you're talking about June-ish before they really get going, and then they go to sleep quite early. So the warmer temperatures and the season extension in here has done them much better. But an interesting crop. I'll come back to this at some stage and taste them just to give you an idea. They're supposed to taste like a cross between a potato and a sweet chestnut, but very, very high in protein. I think the Native American Indians would have used them. But anyway, there you go. That's Apios Americana.